another press event. This time it's called press briefing. I will explain the difference. It is not too often that normally you see really extremely successful ladies in the business of politics, policy making, society development, etc. Therefore, it is my enormous pleasure to welcome here Dr. Ebtesam Al-Kedbi, the founder and president and first female president of the Emirates Policy Center, which is Abu Dhabi-based think tank. Welcome.
Thank you.
I would like to say to start that normally in GLOBSEC you can encounter loads of interesting presentations, speakers, really exquisite guests, but not all of them receive sufficient media attention, especially if they unfortunately cannot fit the program, the agenda. And therefore I'm really happy that Dr. Al-Kedbi accepted our invitation to be present here at this press briefing. So this is the difference. You cannot hear the presentation of Dr. But we are happy to have her here to host this mini event with you. So before you start thinking what is of interest to you in the area of Middle East region, thank you. I will have the privilege to ask the first question. So Dr. Al-Kedbi, can you share with us your personal story? How does it happen that a lady grasps the opportunity within the, unfortunately in our region, purely male world of politics, policy making, and founds a very successful think tank? What was your personal story?
And in our region as well. First, thank you for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be with you here. In fact, I studied politics and then I graduated. Then I am professor of political science. So also I am a researcher. So I'm always obsessed by the idea to create a think tank which is not academic but more bridge the gap between the academics and the decision makers. And always I'm looking to those think tanks, especially in the United States, where they do have policies and the decision makers are depending on that policies. So this is where I started September 2013 with a unit concentrating on Iran. That was the first unit, we call it Iranian Studies, in the region. Although Iran is a neighbor, is an important regional actor, but in the region there is no think tank, no studies unit or center when I established my think tank studying Iran. Then, of course, after that, I opened other units, GCC, Iraq, Turkey, Egypt, Yemen, the Leviathan. So I'm covering the whole Arab world and the Middle East, where we present small policy papers, goes to the decision makers, mainly our funder. It's independent think tank, but we do, our work is more important for Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is yours. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Sir?
I think we can hear each other. But so thank you very much. My name is Andrej Matušek. I'm a Slovak journalist from Devi Pravda. I might have two questions. First, if I may ask, what you said just a few seconds ago that in your think tank the Iran program was the first one in the region. It's, to be honest, excuse my ignorance, but it's kind of shocking for me because Iran is all over the place in the region. So what, as you said, important actor. Whatever we think about Iran, good, bad, positive, negative, it's kind of shocking for me that you have been the first to deal with it. So can you maybe explain a little bit more about this? Why? And then also I would ask you about basically what do you think about the Iran issue, especially now with the fact that when American President Trump just withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal, how it is perceived by you, and maybe if you can enlighten us a bit how it is perceived in the region, because again, excuse my ignorance, it's in Central Europe sometimes we don't know much about your region, so it would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. But I hope you know United Arab Emirates.
No. I am Slovakian.
Okay. Although we have a good relation, now deep relation with Slovakia, yes, maybe, because also it's not about to open and study units on Iran or any other countries. You have to get, and this is also the challenge, to get a good researchers. Now, if you want to understand Iran, you cannot bring anybody. You need somebody speaks Farsi and not biased, okay, who knows Iran from inside, who knows the Iranian mentality. That was also a challenge where I get those people. So I got some of those who studied in Iran, but they are not Iranian, and they know Farsi, and they know the Iranian mentality. They spent a lot of time in Iran. So when we analyze, they are fully knowledgeable about the Iran politics. Now, the other things that people tend to depend on what's in the West written about Iran, mainly United States. But I can say now that what we are producing is it's unique. You cannot find it anywhere, even in the United States. Nobody can understand Iran as we do. Now, coming to the other part of your question, how do we look to the nuclear deal? Okay, now, from the beginning, and this is, I'm talking about myself, meeting with many people from Obama's administration, that time coming to the region. The deal itself is good, yeah? But what was the problem with that deal? There is a weakness in that deal that they did not tie it with the regional files where Iran is involving in it. They did not tie it with ballistic missiles. So how do we see it now that this deal did not prevent Iran from producing or even developing ballistic missiles? It did not prevent Iran from expanding all over the region. It did not prevent Iran from involving in sectarian wars in the region. So that is from our perspective, this is the problem with the deal. Yes, the deal good if Iran will be a normal state, respecting the international law, being a normal state. But you cannot be a state while your constitution stating the first phrase that this is a revolution. You have to choose. Either we are a state or revolution. There is no continuous revolution, and still exporting this revolution to the neighborhood. Iran is a neighbor, but a difficult neighbor. A difficult neighbor when you want to live in a peaceful region. Now, this involvement in Iraq, in Syria, and everywhere, the problem is not with the Iranian people. The problem with the ruling elite, whom is IRGC, and the religious establishment, the theocratic regime. Now, you don't want to deprive the people from their rights, but all of this money came after the deal. It did not spend on the infrastructure, on the education, on the people. It spent on IRGC. IRGC is still controlling the economy the politics, everywhere. So you see that the demonstration last December against the regime has been suppressed by the regime. Still, that's why this is the other side of the story where the West, they don't know about the real politics in Iran, how it's going on, the internal politics. They see only Rouhani. Rouhani has no power. Rouhani has no power in Iran. The power in the hand of IRGC. And those whom they're saying there is moderate and conservative in Iran, no, there is no separation. They are all the same. They are all wanted a theocratic regime. Well, look, now we are in 2018. Who still have this kind of regime, theocratic regime? It's from the Middle Age. I mean, you cannot suppress people from their social freedom. I'm not talking about political freedom. Why women has to put the veil? Why women are deprived from simple rights in that society? I mean, look what they are doing to the student in the university, the last demonstration. So the other side of the story, this is in the West, it doesn't, you don't see it.
Thank you. Further questions, please?
Thank you, Dr. I don't need a mic.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Thank
Okay.
you. My name is Wilson Mann from the Emirates News Agency in Milan. My question, I've got two questions. The first one revolves around UAE foreign policy and its impact on regional developments, if you can express your opinion on that matter. But also, you raised a quite important issue on women and women's development. And there oftentimes is a misconception about the Middle East and women's involvement in the Middle East. Could you please expand on that as well?
Yeah. First, you're right. I mean, UAE foreign policy has been changed a lot since its establishment, 1971. And it was a quiet diplomacy. But what's happening in the region, especially after I hate to call it Arab Spring, we don't have spring in the region. Our spring is storms. But this is a Western expression brought from Prague Spring. So after, I would say, upheaval in the region, UAE also, I would say, felt that everything has been changed. So it has to protect itself and its people from the consequences, especially with the Muslim Brotherhood taking place everywhere. And UAE looks to Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist group. Some people call them moderate. I'm also no separation between moderate Islamists and terrorist Islamists. They are all coming from the same basket, but there is people showing you they are nice, the other, but on the backyard they are controlling those people, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, or whoever. Now, UAE felt that this is a threat for its people and for the country, and it has to change its foreign policy to more, it's not interventionist when take this expression, but I would say more protectionist for its, instead of this threat comes to its land, to its people, it has to go there, face it in Egypt, face it in Libya, face it in Yemen. Now, in Yemen, the threat is different. In Yemen, it's Iran. The threat is coming from there. Plus, of course, we have a new generation in the political elite or ruling elite came, like Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, whom they are, of course, they are totally different than the grandfathers. So the environment where we live it needs to be to protect yourself by going there instead by waiting until the threat comes to your border. And of course now we have been engaged in fighting terrorism with the international allies. We have been, and we opened many centers fighting extremists in UAE also. This is the other side humanitarian side also, whereas the other side of UAE diplomacy, all humanitarian is, including Iran, when is a disaster or earthquake, UAE also sending its humanitarian aids to everywhere. World is changing, region is changing, so you have to change also your foreign policy.
Thank you. Other further questions?
Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't answer the other part of the, no, sorry, your name? Noor. Noor, I don't know, there is a stereotype about the woman in the region. Still, I find it in the films, still I find it when you meet people, they still looking at women, they are under veil and they don't do anything. Things is changing in the world, especially also in the Gulf, where you look and you put all of us in one basket. Even Saudi Arabia has been changed. It's giving now more freedom for women, more rights for women to drive, to work, to be everywhere, to be a diplomat. So I don't think in UAE nor we have this. UAE women are everywhere. In fact, men are complaining.
Good man.
Sad story.
I would say finally complaining.
No, I hope, yeah, definitely. I think that the region needs the change, and having women leading those changes it's very important. But if I may have one follow-up on
Yes.
on Iran, and let's say in a broader context of the region, and this kind of and you might not agree with this observation, but many people would say, okay, what we see in the region is also kind of a really competition between Iran and Saudi Arabia, two regimes which are almost really rooted in the Middle Age ideas. So maybe how do you see this competition? Is it real? Is it just our perception in the West, or what's your view on this?
No, it's real, but you have to dig deep to know what is about this competition. Now, I would say, what is the difference? Iran has its own geopolitical project, okay? Based on what? Based on creating Shia's ummah, Shia's nation, where Iran in the heart of this nation. So Saudi, it was by default the country which hold the holiest places for Sunni Muslim, okay? But it was having also Shia. I mean, this region has Shia, has Jews, has Christian, has everybody there, and lived for a long time without any problem. Since Iraq invasion by American, then when that sectarian war started, after opening Iraq for Iran to step in, and from that time, this sectarian war started and did not stop. Now, Iran wants to be a hegemon in the region. Now, what is the difference? Okay. Okay, I don't mind. You are a big actors, but this does not give you a right to control the others. Now, Saudi didn't have this drive What driving Iran is to be the center of Shiite in the world. And that's why it's expanding using the sectarian issues, creating militias. Now, Saudi did not create militias, creating Hezbollah, destabilizing the whole. Now, it's not only Lebanon, even Syria, creating Houthi in Yemen, destabilizing Yemen, creating Hashd in Iraq now, another militias. So Saudi, they did not go in this direction. Iran who created the militias, non-state actors. Competition, yes, but I would say I'm legitimizing Saudi trying to stop Iranian from meddling its internal affairs. This is what the Iranian used to do. Not only Saudi, in Kuwait, in UAE, and everywhere. Until now, Iranian claiming that Bahrain is part of Iran, while it's independent state. So this competition, the base for Iranian, they don't have a legitimate base for that. Now Saudi, I'm looking to them, they are defending themselves rather than they are more competing with Iran. They are defending themselves.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have time for the last question, so Steve, the floor is yours.
I didn't hear the ladies from here.
If there are no last questions, then I will have the last question.
Please.
The story which gets most coverage in recent days is perhaps the recent steps of the U.S. administration towards Iran. Can you please comment on this situation and how do you see the future development?
Okay. Look, first you have to understand why Trump took this. Trump actually is fulfilling all his promises in his campaign. What he promised, he's fulfilled. Not only about, it's about Jerusalem, about creating more jobs, about bolstering the economy, about everything. So now, if it comes to that, from his point of view, that it wasn't a good deal. As a businessman, U.S. did not gain from that deal because, as I said, the ballistic missile is there, the Iranian expansion is there, threatening U.S. interests and threatening also Israel, and destabilizing the whole region. So that's, from his point of view, when he abandoned that deal, he was asking for another deal. But the Iranian, they wanted the old deal, which is benefiting them more. So when he's asking for another deal, we're taking these issues in consideration. From our point of view, yes, as UAE, as Saudi, as other GCC, except even Oman and Qatar, they agreed on that decision, that let's go to another and see another deal, take those things which was missing from the deal under Obama's administration. And we think that Iran took leverage in Obama's administration in our region, and this has to be re-correct.
So there is hope for recorrection?
We hope so, but it seems that escalation in the region, especially between Israel and Iran, is going to grow more, and sectarian also. Iran will use all its militias and sects in the region to create a sectarian war. The region is now going to deep crisis, is either in the Gulf or in the Leviathan.
There's one more question?
May I have one
Yes.
very quick one? Maybe how do you see the role of Russia in the region? Because of course they are heavily involved in Syria. They have contacts with Israel. They have contacts with Iran. And some people even claim that Russia, honestly I don't believe that, but some people would say that Russia could be kind of a mediator in the region. So how do you see the role of Russia?
Well, if I'm looking to the powers in the region, I would say the Russian has illusion of power. They don't have a real power. There is illusion of power, but they step in the region because the American, Obama's administration left the region. So there was a vacuum. And that's why where they step in and under the label of fighting terrorists and terrorism, there where they went to Syria. And of course, at that time, Obama, I would say, United States was weak. They did not confront them in Syria. Now, their relation with Iran and Israel is problematic. I won't say their relation with Iran is convenience, marriage of convenience, okay? They afraid that Iran can be a troublemaker in Eurasia, okay, where they can make troubles for them. But in Syria, they will not let Iranian to have the upper hand. They will not. They will not give them a military base. In fact, in Afrin, the fight which the Turks went through, 150 Iranian went there. 149 killed because the Russian did not cover them. And when the Iranians sent their drone to Israel, Russia became so angry from the Iranian because that could cause, they were afraid that could cause to a war between Iran and Israel in Syria, where Russia has to take one side. But of course, their relation with Israel is more deep, is more strong. They are an ally. And the Israeli, in fact, they are developing one of chips with the Russian use it in their arms. So their strategic relation is with Israel. Now, their relation with Iran is marriage of convenience. But on the long run, Russia has its problem in the future because it's one-man show, it's Putin. What about after Putin? How is Russia is going to be? So now, that's why I'm saying it's illusion of power.
Unless there are the very last questions, I would like to thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Alkerbi,
Thank you.
for sharing your views.
Thank you.
And enjoy GLOBSEC, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.